Now it's time for my favorite part of Tiger Magazine, Alan and Jen with New North Goes to the Movies.
Hi, I'm Alan. I go to North.
And I'm Jen, and I go to North too.
And this is New North
Goes
to
the
Movies.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do the first one. The first movie is Angel Heart, da-dum-da-dum, and it was really well done and well directed, but I came in and I had no idea what this movie was about at all, and I came in and I saw it, and it was neat, because it wasn't what I thought it was. And it's about this guy, played by Mickey Rourke. His name is Angel, okay, and he's a private detective in the 50s, and he had all the cliches of being a private detective in the 50s, but he carried it off in a new and refreshing manner, somehow. And he's basically hired by the devil to hunt down this guy. Thank you. Hunt down this guy named Johnny Fortune, who seems to have disappeared, but they're not really sure if he's dead or alive. Anyway, it was neat to watch because you were never really sure if he really was the devil or if he was just some very strange guy or if there was anything really, if there really was evil. And they also portrayed Christianity as also being rather evil itself. So it was neat. Thank you. And it was neat, and it was also surprisingly well acted, and it was neat, as I said, 18 times. And I just finally figured out what the title of the movie means, but I'm not going to tell you. You have to figure it out. On to you, Alan. So go see it.
I was the Cosby Girl.
She was much better. She should not be on the Cosby Show. She should be doing real acting because she can act.
Good. I'll see it. Thank you.
Go run out now.
My movie is called Marlena, and it's a documentary on one of the biggest sex symbols in Hollywood history, Marlena Dietrich. It's playing at the Nickelodeon. It might not be there for very long, so you should seek it out. It's one of the most unique documentaries I've seen in a long time because it takes a totally different approach, which I've never seen before. Maximilian Schell, the director, is set with a terrible task because she does not let him photograph her or photograph her personal belongings. And she refuses to acknowledge many facts about her, and when asked if she had any sisters or brothers, she said no, when in fact she did have a sister. And what we get is a picture, well actually we hear a very old, pathetic Hollywood burnout, and she still has a lot of life left in her. But she's become very, very bitchy. And faced with, I don't know. Faced with the terrible task with hardly anything to work with, Schell still pulls it off, because while we're hearing this old feisty old woman, and she calls all of her old films rubbish, and she refuses to see her old films, he's left with nothing, but still it works because we hear her denying her greatness, and when we see old clips of her movies, we know that she's great, and we know that she's just being modest. And my only complaint is that they didn't show enough clips of her old films, because when you see her on the screen, she has an incredible presence. I mean, just incredible erotic presence that I have never really seen before. And I just wanted to see some more of that. But
I bet you do.
But I think it's a really novel way of doing, instead of the old, like, trip back memory lane kind of stuff, this is a much better way of doing a documentary. So
I'll see it.
Yes, you should.
I will see it now. Well, not now.
And so see those two movies this week, and we'll see you.
We will.
Next month on New North
Goes
to
the
Movies.
Yeah.
Recently I went out and I did another one of my Man in the Street reports, where I go out and ask students one or two questions and see what their reaction is. And I went out this time and I asked them what they thought the toughest part about graduating was. What do you think the toughest part might be?
I don't think it's tough to graduate.
Well, here's what they had to say.
So what is the toughest part about graduating? I don't know. What do you think the hardest part about graduating is?
Hardest part about graduating is facing an unforecasted future.
Toughest part about graduating is, you mean graduation night? Graduation night, the hardest thing is getting the right kind of tan so you look good in your cap and gown.
Picking all the colleges and
Getting out of your life.
I'd say it's probably leaving all your friends that you made throughout the high school days, you know?
I agree.
Surviving 9th through 12th grade. Absolutely.
Getting the grades.
We're those stupid gowns. All right. Leave me alone.
Trying to make it to all my classes so I have enough credits to graduate, which I don't.
Leaving the friends and the atmosphere you hung around with.
Getting to class so I can make the graduation requirements.
Applying to colleges and waiting to get answers from them.
Finding out what you're going to do after you get out of the school.
Not having to do homework every night and not looking forward to all the housemasters and Dr. Levinson and all that kind of good stuff. That's probably the toughest part of graduating.
I think it's hard to leave because you don't know what faces you in the future. And I think for some students it's very hard to leave. But I think if students feel confident about themselves and feel they have some good choices out there, then it becomes easier even though it's scary to move on.
Recently it's come to my attention that Newton North's art department may be subjected to a major cutback in funds. This would mean the loss of fine art courses and their teachers. Art department head David Movitz and video English instructor Lynne Rossman have recently started to promote video as a form of art. Although new as a high school medium, video art, as it's more popularly known, will in the near future become what photography has been as a form of expression. Action must be taken now, action in the form of an awareness of this new art form.
I noticed that it really requires the same kinds of visual decision-making that you have when you're working in painting, in that you have to think about form and texture and color and light and so forth. But there's now another ingredient, and that's time. Also, it seems to me, I've never myself worked in video, but it seems to me that video, like any other medium, has its own discipline and requires certain kinds of procedure from the artist, so that you have to spend quite a while learning what the medium requires of you and then what you dare do with the medium. Well, years ago, there seemed to be a little bit of surprise and confusion, but I think today that video is accepted certainly as a very definite medium that's here to stay. And now it's just a question of whether the medium is being used well or not. What with the declining population here at Newton North High School, I think it's probably going to be very important that all of the departments work together and combine our resources so that our students are able to continue with their fine education without having to suffer in any way because of declining enrollment or having to make cutbacks in faculty.
Of course, our discovery of this new medium is no consolation to the possibility that North's special contributions to the arts may be put in a very different light. Simply, video art is another alternative, one that has already inspired me.